Hello there and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. On the program, Lagos set up appeals project to empower farmers in the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu flags off Red Line project and state government to strategize against building collapses. We kick off the show with the issue of food security, which the Lagos state government is making efforts to address by supporting existing farmers, women, and even the youth through its Appeals Project initiative. Please take a look.
Agriculture is one major sector that cannot be ignored in the nation because of its importance. A state like Lagos is paying attention to becoming self-sufficient in food production and empowering residents through its various agriculture initiatives. One of such is the Lagos Agro Processing Productivity Enhancement and Livelihood Improvement Support Project, aimed at supporting the transition of small subsistence farmers across the state. Some farmers are already taking advantage of this initiative. One of the appeals projects is located at Ikota Ipaja in Alimosho area. The farmers' specialty is rearing birds, particularly broiler production. They share their stories on how the support by the state government made all the difference.
We have been in business for almost 12 years, solid. But until October last year, when they said, okay, with all what you have seen, we are supporting 15 out of your members. We are very glad about it. So they gave each member 500 birds, which are broilers. Each member of that 500 birds goes with 90 bags of feed, pelletized solid feed. And that gave us the opportunity, and gave the birds to the opportunity to grow faster than the mash. Not only that, we were giving nipple drinkers to reduce the effect of our burden. Because if not for that nipple drinker, I don't know what will have happened.
The medical specialist who take care of the poultry farm tells us how they care for the birds till it goes to the marketplace.
We collected this thing from day old. So we have to fumigate all this place with formalin. You see all this nylon? We have to cover them for it because they have not get further from the day old. So that's the reason. Then when they come, because of the stress, we give them vitamin so that they can get strength. The second day, we continue with antibiotics. We can use erufloxacin, we can use eroveto, any antibiotics. We use it for 5 days. After that, we can give them anticosi. We can use the drug, maybe Bacos, maybe consider any consider. After 8 days, we give them Goboro. We continue like that so that they will not be affected. There is a program that someone has to follow so that we care for them. And when you see any bird that maybe is sick, we usually isolate it. Notwithstanding, we give every one of them medicine so that it will care for them. So as you are seeing, this bird is 8 weeks because we collected it 18th of March.
We moved to another location at Okunola, also in Alimosho area. Majority of residents are fish farmers who are beneficiaries of the appeals project. A group of them lead us to one of their fish farming sites in the community. The former president of Fish Farmers Association talks about aquaculture and its challenges.
We are about 200 to 300 in all, but about 150 are currently under the confines of the Mosomokola community fish farmers. We heard about appeals project about some years ago, and many of us were individually trying to assess it until the time when we got access through one of our members who has a contact. And about last year, they came to us and give us the very best assistance we've ever gotten from anybody collectively. They gave us about 100 bags each for those who were picked by the program. We're giving collapsible ponds like the one you have over here. It has about 2,000 capacity in all. We're also giving a lot of information and training We went for several programs on how to add value to our product, because as it were, we used to be at the lowest rung of the ladder. The size of fish we have here is between 900 grams to 1.2 kg, various sizes. No matter how well you sort your fish, you always have various sizes there, about 3 sizes. So what we have here is about 900 grams to 1.2 kg. They just recently fed. So we intend to churn this out in about a month or two's time, by which time we should have about the average of 1.5 to 1.7 kg. Here we have about 5,000 fingerlings in this 9 by 14 pond. This is not where we are going to grow them out. It's just like a nursery. They're going to be here for about a month more, and then we're going to share them into these empty ponds. So we don't overstock. We observe the stocking density. At least 1,000 fish inside of this pond dimension. We ensure that we have about 1.5 to 1.7 in about 5 to 6 months. These ones feed different from the one I gave you. The sizes are different, and here is it. This is about 1.5 ml. Let me feed them. These ones feed up to 5 times daily. We try not to overfeed them at any given point in time. Feed them gradually so that you don't waste the feed. We would like government to come to our aid, probably to create a selling board to look at the prevailing pricing of our materials used for feeding, and then arrive at a fair and equitable price for all.
Even though there are well-processed feeds for different sizes of fish, those in the business have to create time to produce natural food for these aquatic animals.
For example, we have fish meal. This is animal protein. If you want to do starter, you use like 30% to start your fish feed. And if you want to do grower, you use 25%. And when you want to do finisher, you use 20%. We have other protein like GNC and cake, soya cake. These are also protein, but they are plant protein. It's advisable you use equal kg of this when you're plating your feed fish. And we have energy. You can either use Indomie or spaghetti. Some people use corn, but it's not advisable to use corn because of the digestibility content of fish. It's not easily digested. This is the Oma meal. The raw material go into this machine, then bring it out in form of powder. So from this place, we now come to this, which is called pelleting machine. It has different types of sizes. We have 2 mm, 3 mm, 4 mm, and 6 mm, 8 mm. So it depends on the size you wish to produce. The dice is there, you can change it to any size you want. From this place, you now put it, after pelleting it, you now put it on this. This is called the dryer. You spread, after spreading it here, you put your charcoal here, light it up, then on the blower for the heat to dry the feed.
Monisola Dada is a woman passionate about fish farming and appeals to government to invest more in this sector to help reduce unemployment rates in the nation.
When you people come to our aid and you back us up, we'll be able to do more and feed the whole nation. Instead of importing fish, even the dead fish that is not even consumable for anybody, you can encourage people that what we have in Nigeria is enough for us to eat. But when the market people, when they purchase it at the right price, and we, the farmer, are making margin, then we can continue to do more and encourage people instead of a lot of graduates that have no work. When they see the end result, they themselves will have interest. They will know that agric is really our own core in Nigeria.
The project, which has been ongoing since 2017, has supported over 9,000 farmers in Lagos, and the state coordinator explains how the initiative is carried out.
The main objective is to see how we can enhance the productivity of our farmers through the introduction and adoption of improved technologies that can give them better output. Then we have improved processed outputs, because we also try to see how they can have more value for what they do, and then to enhance the livelihood of our farmers. We have a target of 10,000 farmers. To date, we have been able to identify over 9,000 farmers. And these are farmers that must have had experiences, minimum of 3 years, in the value chains that they're involved in. There is a required capacity. For instance, for our fish farmers, you must have nothing less than 2,500 fishes. For our poultry farmers, for those who are into the laying birds, 1,000. For broilers, which is for meat purpose, 500. For our rice farmers, you must have nothing less than 2 hectares of land for rice cultivation. And basically, the reason for this criteria is to ensure that viability, sustainability, that's the point at which farming is actually viable and profitable for our farmers. And our target is for the small and scale medium farmers, not for sustenance, so subsistence farmers. We also have another component, which is for the women and youth. Our target is for 1,700. We have identified them already. We have 1,621 we have identified. These are people that are either young graduates or people that have passion for agriculture. For the men, you must not be above 40 and you must not be below 18. For the women, there is no age limit because we know what it is to empower a woman in the society. To date, we have supported almost 1,000 farmers with different inputs across the 3 value chains. And these inputs include, we have collapsible fish ponds, we have supported them with feeds, we have supported them with fish, we have supported them with transplanters for rice farmers, we have supported with broilers, feeds for them, basically to ensure that whatever it is that they're doing is done well. Then the second category is the women and youth. It's more of a startup grant. So for the women and youth, you are looking at how do you start them from start to finish. So for someone who wants to go into broiler production, you are supporting them with 6 weeks, preferably 2 kg live birds. You are giving them the feeding machine, cutters, freezers. For our fish farmers, for production, you are supporting them with, for people who don't have boreholes, you support them with boreholes, you give them ponds, you give them fish, you give them feed. For our rice farmers, it's the same thing, but it's more of a startup grant, so it's from the beginning to the end. While for the existing farmers, it's like you are filling in the gap to ensure that they get it right.
Appeals Project is a 6-year scheme designed to empower small and medium-scale farmers that will in turn make Lagos self-sufficient in food production.
Lagosians, we are recording more cases of the deadly COVID-19 pandemic every day. The second wave is spreading like wildfire in our communities. It is deadlier, spreads faster, and kills faster. Our isolation centers are getting filled up, and more patients are on oxygen. More people are dying, and the young ones are not left out. You don't need to die in ignorance or arrogance and foolishness. Observe all the precautions. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water. If you don't have access to water and soap, please use an alcohol-based sanitizer. Use your face mask properly and regularly. If you have to go out or be in public, avoid large crowds. Observe social distance always. Do not hug. If it's not important, stay at home. Most common symptoms include fever, dry cough or tiredness, aches and pains, sore throat, loss of taste or smell. Serious symptoms include shortness of breath, chest pain or loss of speech. Should you have any of these symptoms or know someone who does, please call the 24/7 Eco Telemed toll-free line on 0800 035 6633. We must take responsibility for our health and lives. We must fight coronavirus by being responsible. Please observe all precautions. The second wave of coronavirus is killing faster than you can imagine. Stay safe. Be responsible. Don't waste your life. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe, Lagos State Government announcer.
The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has flagged off the construction of the 37-kilometer rail mass transit project, which will traverse from Agbado to Marina, and has already promised to make it operational by the year 2022.
Road connectivity is a major issue in Lagos State with the attendant traffic problems, which most times leave commuters spending hours to get to their destinations. There are continuous plans in Lagos to improve the situation, such as setting up different modes of transportation, plans the state government is bent on bringing to friction. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu flags off construction of the 37-kilometer rail mass transit, to be known as the Red Line project.
It is a 37-kilometer rail route from Marina to Agbado.
The first phase of the project is a 28-kilometer stretch on a dedicated lane from Agbado and ending at the Oyinbo terminal.
This project symbolizes a major and a very bold step Mr. Governor has taken to keep his electoral promises as captured in his administration's themes developmental agenda. The first pillar of the themes agenda being traffic management and transportation. This project, the Red Line project, will provide public transportation for no less, and this is just the first phase, than 500,000 passengers per day in the first phase, increasing to circa 1 million passengers per day once the full project is completed.
For the State Commissioner for Transportation, the Red Line project is one of the state's strategic transport master plan that will make provision for 6 standard rail lines.
To date, we have operationalized 3 BRTs, while the 4th is currently being built along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. We are building 2 of the rail lines as well as carrying out studies for the monorail, which would orbit Ikoyi, Victoria Island, and part of Lekki. We have invited the private sector to express interest in the 4 other rail lines so that we can begin to develop them also. The administration is empowering our traffic management and enforcement agencies with technology to improve their performance. We are equally ensuring that our transport laws are positioned to answer to the challenges of managing our state in line with the dictates of the 21st century.
This Red Line project speaks of the first pillar of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's themes agenda, which is traffic management and transportation, and he says the project will be delivered by end of 2022.
Our desire is to achieve and improve connectivity amongst our various transportation nodes, making commuting within Lagos easy as well as business-like friendly for every Lagosian, for our visitors. We believe it will reduce congestion, it will have more predictable travel journey, and improve the total GDP of our state. The construction of infrastructure for the standard gauge rail, which we call the Red Line, which will share track with the Lagos-Ibadan Railway Modernization Project, whose implementation starts here today, is divided into 2 phases. The Red Line is a 37-kilometer railroad with 12 proposed stations. The first phase, which will cover from Oyinbo to Agbado with 9 stations. We project that the Red Line will move the first set of passengers, by the grace of God, within the last quarter of the year 2022. In addition, we are simultaneously working on bringing the phase 1 of our Blue Line to passenger operation also within the same time frame.
Over 260 properties are to give way to this project, and the state government present checks to the affected persons.
I received 670 million, 660. I'm happy because they don't even remember us to giving us something. We are okay.
I want to express my thanks to Lagos State Government for coming to that area that has long been neglected. So for that kind of project coming there, I'll say it's a very, very good thing. The state government has also demonstrated the meaning of a democracy. The government of the people, by the people, for the people.
The Baba Shafi family appreciate with the little money that government give us today, 3,977,000. What we feel to the government now, after the project, we want all Agege people to get work in that Lagos railway terminal.
The Lagos Mass Transit Rail began in 1983 during the late Alhaji Lateef Jakonde administration, and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says is determined to complete the Blue and Red Line that will make Lagos livable as a modern mega city.
Safety of lives and property is on the priority list for the Lagos State government, which is why the State Material Testing Laboratory is meeting with stakeholders and concerned individuals in construction field on how to prevent building collapses in the state.
These twin buildings on Brown Street in the Oshodi area of Lagos State will no longer be standing here, as both have been recommended for demolition by the Lagos State Building Control Agency. Occupants are aware of this as they try to save whatever they can before the building goes down. To further prevent compromise of buildings, the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory meets with stakeholders and property developers to get them abide by construction guidelines.
The main objective of our regulatory law is to test the quality of materials used for building and civil engineering construction. The core vision of Lagos State Plan is to establish presence in all the 20 local governments and 37 LCDAs in all 5 divisions of the state, where resident quality assurance will be active for effective monitoring. Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory is hereby appealing to all stakeholders that before they commence any operation on any building or construction site, they come to the agency for the testing of all materials required for use. The good people of Lagos State in recent times, we have witnessed a lot of collapse of buildings in the state. And with this conference, we want to commence an advocacy for zero tolerance to building collapse in the state. In the 21st century Lagos, with a mega city status, we will not tolerate buildings without standing the test of time or having defects within a short period of time, as we are set to commence aggressive operation in combing the streets of Lagos or any estate to monitor building and civil engineering construction in Lagos State.
Thank you for the honor, sir.
Experts in the building sector call for effective policies that would checkmate sharp practices in the construction field and sanction offenders.
There are some people who just take delight in breaking laws, in cutting corners, in doing sharp practices, because it is easier to make profit that way. Now, here is one of the things that we need to imbibe in our society. It is the duty of good people to call out bad people. Because if I make blocks, and this is a true story because I'm actually involved in a construction company where we make blocks. And I'm very happy they tell me the chairman is there, so it's going to meet him. If I make blocks and I use the good materials to make it, and I spend 8 naira to make my block, and somebody else spends 4 naira to make their blocks, and we both try to sell it at 10 naira, I haven't fulfilled a righteousness, which costs me more. You, because you're cutting corners and you're making more profit, then it's unfair. That is unfair practice. So we should all agree for what is right and then doing the right way.
The laws are there. You want to build. Before you even buy the land, there are processes and procedures. Go ask for the planning information. Can I put a filling station here? What are the safety measures? I mean, the laws are there. There are consultants that have been trained like you and I to guide these the people that have the funding. But unfortunately, I still can't wrap my head around it. Whereby people that seemingly have all it takes to deliver a safe, serviceable, livable habitation still fall foul of all these intransigence.
To the people that owns the money that wants to build, to the developers and the owners, we are only checkmating in relation to the money you are spending to make sure that people are building according to standard. Those tests that they ask you to do are very important. The soil test before building. You want to build in a water area. There are type of foundation that is necessary. And they tell you the depth at which it can go. It's not all about Baba Yinka did it this way, I have to do it that way. Your land size might be different from the other. The spot on your site might be different for the next person. So it is very important that we do the soil test so that we know what type of foundation we want to build.
The takeaway from this meeting is that anyone interested in putting up a structure in Lagos must submit their building materials to the State Material Testing Laboratory before going ahead with construction.
The GM wants to speak.
And this is where we call it today on this week's edition of the program Dateline Lagos. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Until I come your way again next time, please stay safe.